Did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left.
Sophie Cunningham has just shattered a decades-old playbook that's long shaped WNBA narratives. What began as a casual podcast chat about Dewana Bonner's messy exit has exploded into a bigger movement, leaving old-school media gatekeepers scrambling. She's shown that players like her, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana Fever can bypass ESPN, The Athletic, and other entrenched outlets, speaking directly to fans and generating more genuine engagement than many seasoned reporters achieve in a year. For an industry built on being the middleman between athletes and the public, it's not just unsettling, it's a threat to their very role.
I like DB because DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway. And so we'll take her in a heartbeat. She's a Hall of Famer. She's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
Before diving into how Sophie exposed cracks in the WNBA's media machine, imagine a league where players control their own narratives, free of bias, anti-Clark spin, or agendas pitting teammates against each other. Sophie's move goes far beyond the Bonner drama. It signals the start of a new era that could completely redefine who shapes the story in women's basketball.
I just think, and you know way better than me, but it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because this is what we've always wanted as a league. So who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
You are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is not 100% responsible, but has a huge role in growing your sport.
Dude, and it literally pisses me off when people are she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
For years, legacy sports media controlled WNBA coverage, deciding who got airtime and which stories fit the brand. Sophie just proved those walls are flimsy, as one unfiltered podcast exposed the system's fragility and sent major outlets scrambling to secure player partnerships before losing control of the narrative. The numbers made it clear. Her following has soared past 1.6 million on TikTok and 1.1 million on Instagram, surpassing the reach of many so-called insider reporters, all while ESPN downplayed Caitlin Clark's record-breaking performances.
I went from I think
followers, yeah,
350,000 and maybe 200,000 on TikTok.
You had 200,000 on TikTok a month ago?
No. I
before the fight.
Before the fight, and then I had 350 on 100,000 on Instagram. Over the night, or over a day and a half, over 1 million on both. Insane. This is coming from me though, dude. I got tired of seeing myself.
I get it.
And I love myself.
I get it.
I love myself. I was over it.
Here's where the game truly changed. Sophie didn't climb by bowing to the old guard, but by speaking fans' language, unapologetic, competitive, and real. While others stayed in polished media bubbles, she went straight to the people, offering what ESPN's safe sound bites never could: authenticity. The power shift came when she skipped reporters, The Athletic, and Twitter, instead dropping a truth bomb with her Show Me Something co-host that reframed the Bonner controversy. No editors, no spin, no PR script, just raw truth. In the past, such scoops were filtered through beat reporters, tightly framed, and timed to fit the media's control.
But she got to Indiana and she just really wasn't happy. And I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career. So she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're going to leave, you're going to have to expect getting booed.
Was there explanation when it happened? No. Not even privately? Yeah, I mean, okay. That's tough. And, yeah, okay. Well, I did say unless you leave on some you type shit, and that's what that is, so.
Yeah.
Sophie took one look at that system and said, yeah, no. She told the story herself, better than any outsider could, because she lived it, with the first-hand credibility, context, and platform to share it without asking permission. It's a level of freedom the establishment media doesn't want Caitlin Clark or any Fever player to enjoy.
Like, I'm still rooting for her. Like, I want her to end her career and be happy. But I also think that, like, it's okay to be professional about it and, like, send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to handle that, I think.
Here's the strategic bombshell most missed. Sophie's podcast isn't just a DIY project. It's backed by Colin Cowherd's sports media empire, The Volume, marking the first major crossover between a WNBA player's content and mainstream sports muscle. They signed her not as a token gesture, but because they saw what ESPN didn't. Player-driven storytelling outperforms sterile, politically safe coverage. That deal shows WNBA stars can step into the mainstream sports arena and reach a bigger, truth-hungry audience. Sophie's success will push more players to bypass middlemen, which is why traditional media is scrambling to sign them. Proof that fans prefer unfiltered player content over corporate-approved narratives.
There's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb.
Sophie is breaking the league's Protect the Veterans Code, the unspoken rule against criticizing the inner circle, exposing politics, or questioning sacred cows. She called that agreement broken and told the truth about Bonner's messy exit, not because it was easy or safe, but because it was real. That commitment to truth over politics is exactly what new WNBA fans, especially Caitlin Clark's massive following, have been craving, while old media stayed too afraid to address it.
One of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitlin.
Hurtland?
Yeah. What has that been like? Seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport.
basketball as a whole around the world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
Sophie Cunningham's fiery defense of Caitlin Clark spoke directly to the fans the old WNBA media machine has been alienating. While legacy journalists softened Clark's story with cautious, she just needs time takes, Sophie bluntly called her critics dumb as hell, and meant it. It was both authentic and strategic, targeting the league's fastest-growing, most passionate fan base and speaking their language instead of the media's stale jargon. She chose inclusion over gatekeeping, and her engagement numbers showed it worked.
You have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her Cece. Cece. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But there's just more.
The traditional sports press thrives on players sticking to sanitized, sponsor-friendly quotes. It keeps them as the all-important interpreters. But when Sophie speaks directly and unapologetically, the middleman becomes irrelevant. No spin, no decoding. Fans hear her, understand her, and rally behind her instantly. And that terrifies the old guard, because if players like Sophie and Caitlin can reach millions, grow massive followings, and own their narratives without gatekeepers, what exactly are those gatekeepers offering anymore? Their power was built on controlled access, on the belief that players needed their platforms to matter. Sophie just proved they never did. And now the only question is, who's next?
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, like, again, I think she's a hell of a player and, like, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. Like, you literally couldn't touch her. Couldn't touch her. And that's just so annoying to me. Like, and if you're going to do that, then give it to our guard.
The WNBA is in full panic mode after Sophie Cunningham went full scorched earth. She dropped comments so spicy they could melt a shot clock, and now the league hit her with a fine big enough to make anyone check their Venmo balance twice. Was she the hero we needed, or the chaos agent the league fears? Fans are fighting, players are gossiping, and the drama is hotter than a playoff overtime. One thing's for sure, this isn't just hoops anymore, it's pure spectacle.
Like, I just hate the inconsistency.
Like when whistles are player focused, that's like, I mean, I think that's a huge problem.
Well, she's gonna be one of those players that, like, she's already gonna be a GOAT. Like, she's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that she's freaking hell of a player, but like getting some of those whistles already, oh my, I couldn't.
Sophie Cunningham is basically speed running WNBA fines, 4 and counting. It all kicked off when she roasted the refs on TikTok, calling them useless. 30 seconds, $500 gone. The league's message? Shut up. Sophie's response? Keep talking.
Cunningham posted the video 6 days ago, which shows her lip-syncing lyrics from Sabrina Carpenter's song Man-Child. The caption to the video is, "At some refs."
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Yesterday, Cunningham reposted the video on X with a caption about the fine.
But Sophie didn't blink. She went podcast mode. Not only did she stand by her rant, she cranked it up, dragging the whole league's ref drama into the spotlight. The reward? A $1,500 fine, bringing her grand total to $2,000. The league wanted silence, but instead, they've lit the fuse on a full-blown basketball soap opera.
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 and a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul. Outward for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
The backlash was immediate. Social media flooded with hashtag #FreeSophie. Fans crowdfunded her fines in record time, and petitions demanding referee accountability gained thousands of signatures overnight. What the WNBA meant as a silencer turned Sophie into a rallying cry. The contrast is glaring. Over in the NBA, Draymond Green and Charles Barkley make a living roasting refs, and fans cheer them for it. In the WNBA, Sophie speaks up once and gets slapped with fines like she's running a parking meter tab. Now the league faces a choice: address the broken whistle system or double down and watch Sophie's rebellion grow even louder.
After review, we have no illegal conduct by Euro, so the call will stand as confirmed. This will be also. Indiana will lose their challenge as well as their timeout. One shot for Euro.
That's stunning to me. I mean, Aaliyah Boston, look at her. Lee puts her one hand down and then hands Boston down with her other arm.
I gotta say, Rebecca, I'm sure we'll get an explanation from Sue Blau at some point soon.
Sophie's WNBA saga reads like a bad mob movie. She called out refs for not protecting players, Caitlin Clark included, and instead of addressing it, a league official basically told her, "Talk again and we'll fine you. Again." That's not a warning, that's a shakedown. And here's the irony. The more they try to muzzle her, the louder her voice gets. It's the Streisand effect in sneakers. Bury the story, and suddenly it's front-page news. Fans are noticing too. Cheap shots on Caitlin Clark go unpunished, but Sophie's words get a price tag? The league looks less like it's protecting players and more like it's protecting bad whistles.
Paige Becker putting her hands on Sophie to shove her up. You see Sophie's hand in the air. Both hands are in the air right here. And Paige Becker is shoving. She is shoving her clean off. Boom! Pushed her right into Howard. Pushed her into Howard. Now she's wide open and waiting for a pass like she just didn't do anything. Like she just didn't do anything. Wide open down here. Look at her. And then all of a sudden you get the whistle. Look at the ref. You see the ref? You see the ref right here. Calling the foul. And guess who the foul was on? Sophie Cunningham.
Sophie didn't sugarcoat it. Refs missing the same obvious calls isn't tough luck. It's incompetence. One bad game is forgivable, but a league full of them? Not so much. When NBA refs look like pros by comparison, fans can't help but ask, Why fine players for honesty instead of fixing the problem?
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you, like, bugged out?
All of them.
Everything?
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're going to be found out of me,
Yeah.
cool. But let me do it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
want
Like,
consistency then.
yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like, everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do.
Anyone who's left a WNBA game scratching their head knows Sophie's pain. This isn't a one-off. It's a pattern that frustrates fans, shapes gameplay, and makes players speak out. The league's solution? Find the whistleblowers. Sophie's podcast, Dissecting the Fines, just shined a spotlight on the chaos, making it impossible to ignore.
There's like a good handful that it's like, all right, dude. And there's a couple girls in it
Dumb
too.
question. If someone were to, like, say someone called men's basketball their whole life and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently? Just given, like, the style and, like, physicality and stuff like that?
Players are buzzing. Would men's games get the same calls? Or is this just WNBA weirdness? Sophie's fearless rant didn't just roast a bad ref crew. It spotlighted a league wrestling with its own credibility. Fine her once, fine her twice, and suddenly you've got hashtags, petitions, and a fan uprising hotter than a playoff buzzer beater. The NBA handles ref drama with replays, reports, and debates. The WNBA handles it with $500 bills and silence. So, how far will the league go to protect its image before the whole thing starts collapsing like a cheap folding chair? Maybe the WNBA thinks hush money is the new instant replay, but fans aren't buying it. Somewhere between outrage and disbelief, the league might just discover that credibility isn't for sale.
And with the Indiana Fever today, unfortunately, we have the horrific, terrible news that Sophie Cunningham is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL.
What went down under the basket that night? Sophie Cunningham drops with a torn MCL. The Fever rule her season over, and Bria Hartley's grinning like a cartoon villain. Fans lose it. Sure, it was dirty, while refs suddenly discover the art of silence. The league? Quieter than a church mouse. Sophie's career takes a hit, but she's swinging back. No mercy, torching haters and the league. So, what exactly did Sophie say that lit the court ablaze?
The hits just keep coming for the Indiana Fever. Not unexpected that Sophie Cunningham ruled out for the season, but devastating nonetheless as the injuries just continue to pile up. Of course, Sydney Colson already out for the season, Ari McDonald out for the season, and now Sophie Cunningham out for the season. That's with Caitlin Clark still out and having been out for much of the season.
The moment that wrecked the Fever season wasn't subtle. In the second quarter against the Sun, Bria Hartley barreled to the rim, lost balance, and crashed straight into Sophie Cunningham's right leg. Cunningham dropped, clutching her knee as the arena froze. Teammates rushed in, and one look at the Fever bench said it all. This wasn't just a bump.
Listen, Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty she is.
Seconds later, the camera caught Hartley seeming to smile. That frame exploded on social media as fans asked how anyone could grin after such a brutal injury. To many, it looked less like shock and more like satisfaction, and that image, as much as the fall, ignited the outrage.
Now look,
you can tell Brie Hartley, in my opinion, she launched herself into her knee. She did. And I've seen some of the reaction online. And guys, it's despicable. It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is. It's members of the old WNBA fandom, the ones that root for Paige Beckers and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson and all the usual damn suspects.
The officials only poured gas on the fire. No flagrant, no upgrade, not even a review. The game rolled on as if Cunningham hadn't just torn her MCL and lost her season.
Sophie announcing her being out with an MCL tear, which, by the way, the MCL tear, relatively speaking, is good news because it's not an ACL tear. She's not out for like a year or anything, but she's out for the rest of this year. And they're going to miss her toughness, they're going to miss her shooting, they're going to miss her playmaking to a degree.
This wasn't just one play. Fans quickly pointed to a bigger problem. Years of unchecked physicality and collisions brushed off until someone got seriously hurt. And for Hartley, this wasn't her first flashpoint of the season. Stacked together, it looked less like an accident and more like a pattern. The outrage didn't stop at Hartley either. Fans blasted officiating and league leadership under Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. The gripe wasn't new. Refs leaned too hard on letting them play, leaving athletes wide open to danger. Cunningham's injury became the perfect storm, the latest painful example fueling demands for change.
This is terrible. You don't want to see anybody go out, especially with an injury. And Sophie Cunningham has been kind of like the heartbeat of this team with Caitlin Clark being out. She's like the first player we actually seen come out and stand up for Caitlin Clark and have her back. So this definitely sucks. And beyond her having Caitlin Clark back, her play on the floor.
For Sophie, the price couldn't have been steeper. A day later, tests confirmed the fear. A torn right MCL, season over. After clawing her way into becoming one of Indiana's key players, it vanished in a heartbeat, replayed endlessly across every platform. The collision wasn't just an injury, it became a symbol of the deeper issues fans say the league keeps ignoring.
This has been an injury-riddled season for the team and Sophie Cunningham. You got to remember she had that ankle injury, which is why she's wearing an ankle brace in the game. She had that in the beginning of the season. She was dealing with an injury. She fought back, came off the bench, got into the starting lineup, and she started lighting it up for us. She was knocking down the threes. She was bringing that energy, and us fans wanted her to get more shots, and we were upset at the fact that she's standing around wide open looking for the ball, and she's just not getting the ball on a lot of these possessions.
In the days after the injury, Sophie stayed silent, still processing, but her family didn't. Her sister Lindsay went straight at the WNBA, blasting refs and saying the league cared more about fines than safety, a critique that echoed what fans were already shouting. Their mom, Paula, piled on in a now-deleted post, calling Hartley reckless and out of control, hinting it wasn't her first offense. Those posts gave a raw glimpse into Sophie's circle and shoved fresh pressure onto officials and league leadership.
This injury happened, and Sophie Cunningham's sister was none too happy about it and slammed the WNBA. Maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. It's pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie. That's Lindsay. That's her sister. Well, her sister made this comment, and it brought out the scumbags.
When Sophie finally spoke, her tone was completely different. On her podcast, she called the play unfortunate but not malicious, a basketball moment gone wrong, with her simply in the wrong spot. She doubled down, saying she had nothing but love for Hartley, that they were good friends, and asked fans to stop sending hate. It was a calm, mature response that shocked people almost as much as the injury itself. From someone sidelined for a whole season, It showed perspective that clashed with the narrative fans had built online.
I know Bria, and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I have been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this because I did want to tweet it out, but I don't think that there was no ill intent. I think it was basketball play. I was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. She fell. Like, there's no way that she would go in there and potentially try to hurt me. And so I had nothing but love for Bria. And I even told my mom because she tweeted something. I was like, no, Mom, I get it. But I promise you that I was like, Bria and I are super cool. And she would never try to hurt me because there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so I have nothing but love. And so I hope people stop giving Bria some heat because I don't think she meant to do that at all.
But Sophie didn't stop there. In that same podcast, she pivoted to a bigger issue, accountability. She linked her injury to a pattern of refs missing dangerous plays while still slapping players with fines for speaking out. She reminded listeners she'd already been fined for comments about officials and Paige Beckers. That hit home. Her family's frustration made sense. To them, the league punished words faster than it protected bodies.
I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy sh**. For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Beckers.
No way.
I didn't even say anything bad.
On the whistle? On the quick whistle?
Yeah. But why?
Then came the post that flipped the script. On social media, Sophie dropped a blunt line. Some of us were raised by the words of, "Don't bite off more than you can chew." And some of us didn't F around and find out. Short, sharp, and nothing like her podcast calm, it was pure fire. Fans took it as a rallying cry, proof she wasn't broken and wouldn't back down. It channeled the defiance her supporters love and shoved her right back into the spotlight.
Well, you come at Sophie's sister, you come at Sophie. And Sophie saw this comment, and bless her heart, she answered it. She answered it. Some of us were raised by the words of, quote, "Don't bite off more than you can chew." And some of us didn't. Quote, F around and find out. F around and find out. Yes. God bless this woman. Yeah, seriously. She's great.
The two sides of Sophie's response, measured respect for Hartley and fiery defiance toward critics, ended up complementing each other. The podcast showed her integrity and willingness to take the high road, while the post revealed her resilience and refusal to let anyone script her story. Together, they framed her as an athlete balancing perspective with passion, refusing to be defined by victimhood, even in one of her toughest moments. Still, one question lingered. Was the collision truly an accident, or part of a bigger pattern in Hartley's play that the league had long ignored?
The Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
Just moments ago, Sophie Cunningham finally spoke out, and what she revealed about the Indiana Fever locker room should send shockwaves through every Caitlin Clark fan out there.
Sophie Cunningham goes in the post-game press conference and confirms what we've all known all along.
We've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands.
This locker room is split, and she uses the term different islands going on in this locker room.
Sophie literally says, there's a little thing going on in the locker room.
That's not good. That's not good to hear.
We're talking broken trust, no backup for their star, and a team unraveling from within. Caitlin's fights clearly go far beyond the court. She's out there waging war completely on her own.
There's one really concerning thing that Sophie Cunningham says.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
It's been a disaster. The good teams can keep the locker room together.
If you're still backing Caitlin Clark and believe she deserves way better than this disaster, drop a comment below. Stand up for Caitlin Clark. Because after Sophie's brutally honest words, it's clear this team's falling apart, and no one's lifting a finger to protect their once-in-a-generation star.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is box office.
Caitlin Clark as the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the WNBA.
For weeks, fans felt something was wrong with this Fever squad, and now Sophie has torn the bandage clean off. She confirmed what everyone had been whispering. The locker room is fractured, unraveling just when Caitlin needs unity more than ever. In her post-game press conference, Sophie didn't hold back.
Sophie Cunningham, in the post-game interview, speaks on this team and the islands.
We have our own island. That line hit like a live grenade.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
This wasn't just about missed plays or botched assignments. It was a locker room filled with disconnection, zero unity, and a blinding absence of leadership.
Everybody's on their own little island.
For a team built around a once-in-a-generation talent like Caitlin Clark, that's a blaring neon red warning sign for every fan who's watching closely.
Take care of our locker room.
Whew! You did a job at that.
Sophie admitted the squad is unstable and failing to support each other when it counts. Translation: Caitlin's not just eating hits from defenders, she's being left to fend for herself with no help from her own teammates when the blows keep coming.
Caitlin Clark, plasters over all the cracks. She realistically plasters over all the cracks of this team. This team is not structured well.
The very squad that's supposed to rally around her can't even hold it together. Last season, they had each other's backs. Win or lose, there was a sense of unity. But now, Sophie bluntly admits, everything's changed.
Even when they were losing games, it seemed like the locker room was in a good spot.
Now Sophie's basically waving a massive warning flag. And this isn't some clueless rookie talking. This is a battle-tested veteran. She even owned up, saying she's got to step up and help unify the team. But let's be honest, that doesn't fix the cracks that are already splitting wide open.
Sophie Cunningham coming out there and effectively saying there's a big difference between her saying there are locker room issues and her saying the locker room maybe isn't where it needs to be.
Caitlin Clark's trapped in a locker room that offers her no protection, emotionally, mentally, or physically. And that collapse, it's bleeding out onto the court for everyone to witness.
It is not looking positive for them to be fixed. We can be honest here. It's not looking positive.
In games where Caitlin takes a beating, where's the support? No teammates stepping up to send a message. Just collapse when it counts. Sophie even pointed it out herself. They scored 35 points on us in one quarter.
They scored 35 points, I think you guys said. That just cannot happen.
That's a team with no discipline, no focus, and no trust. This isn't just about losing a few games. It's about a whole culture crumbling from within.
The Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
When your superstar's out there fighting alone, this isn't some ordinary team issue anymore. This is a full-scale meltdown.
If it's not minor, then again, I'm getting very close to just riding off the seat.
Sophie Cunningham's blunt remarks about players living on different islands didn't come out of nowhere. They're the result of months of dysfunction, puzzling roster decisions, and a front office that looks utterly lost on how to protect the one player who truly matters, Caitlin Clark. And a lot of this mess circles right back to DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. Let's be clear, Bonner wasn't signed to just fill a roster spot.
Whose idea was it to bring these old dinosaurs and put them on this roster, starting with DeWanna Bonner?
She landed a max contract from the Fever in the offseason. Still one of the most baffling moves fans and analysts can recall. Sure, Bonner brought experience, but she also came with serious baggage. And despite all her veteran status, the instant result was friction, not leadership. Some insiders even suggest her sudden exit wasn't just about her brutal shooting. It was a last-ditch effort to save whatever shred of team unity remained.
One of the fractures was a DeWanna Bonner group off to the side.
One analyst didn't even hold back. asking if the Fever finally realized they had to cut Bonner just to stop the locker room from completely imploding. Her sudden release shocked the entire WNBA, but in hindsight, it's hard to ignore the signs. She may have been the wedge splitting the team apart, right as Caitlin was fighting to keep it all together. Then there's Natasha Howard, arguably an even bigger question mark and an even bigger risk. Fans and creators have slammed her for her lack of urgency, shaky effort, and head-scratching behavior off the court. In a recent game, she literally showed more concern for an opposing player than for her own teammates.
Tasha Howard decides that she'd rather rub up on Ezzy Magdeburg's leg.
Even when Caitlin Clark hit the floor after a brutal foul, Natasha stood there stone-faced. No reaction, no support, nothing at all.
Anytime Caitlin Clark's been knocked to the ground, anytime Aaliyah Boston's been punked, anytime Lexi Hull's been beat up, Sophie Cunningham's been beat up, any more concern about somebody on the other team than from her own team.
Meanwhile, she's quick to check on rival players, but barely bats an eye when Caitlin gets dropped, or Aaliyah takes a hit, or Sophie gets shoved around. It's not just awkward, it's flat out embarrassing. And still, with all that, Howard keeps clocking big minutes, while players like Sophie Cunningham, who actually care, stay glued to the bench. Even worse, fans are convinced this loyalty to Howard is pure politics, all thanks to Stephanie White, the head coach who once coached Howard back in Indiana. It's not about merit, it's about connections, and that's when the real damage comes into focus. By clinging to veterans who aren't all in and sidelining players who are, the Fever blew up their own chemistry. Now, the locker room's broken into literal factions. One analyst even mapped it out. Caitlin, Lexi Hull, and Sophie on one island, Natasha, Sydney Colson, and Kelsey Mitchell camped out on another. Sophie Cunningham, a WNBA star's journey. In today's video, we'll take you inside the remarkable story of Sophie Cunningham, an American pro basketball player and sharpshooting guard, now lighting it up for the Indiana Fever in the WNBA. From her humble beginnings on a Missouri farm to her legendary college run at the University of Missouri, her rise with the Phoenix Mercury, and her fresh start in Indiana, we're covering it all. You'll also get a glimpse into her close-knit family, deep-rooted faith, and personal life beyond the hardwood. If you love sports bios, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories. Sophie Elizabeth Cunningham was born on August 16, 1996, in Columbia, Missouri. She was raised in a close, rural family community. Life on the farm gave Sophie a relentless work ethic right from the jump. Family stories recall Sophie and her sister Lindsay tackling chores, riding horses bareback, and spending countless hours outdoors. That upbringing crafted Sophie's balance, grit, and toughness, qualities that would become trademarks of her game. Sophie's parents, Jim and Paula Cunningham, were major influences on her journey. Paula was a standout multi-sport athlete, excelling in softball, basketball, and track before competing in track at Missouri. Jim, meanwhile, played college football. Their passion for sports and competitive drive were passed directly to their daughters. Sophie's older sister, Lindsay Cunningham, also shined as a basketball player. Both sisters starred at the University of Missouri and had always dreamed of playing side by side. Lindsay committed to Mizzou in 2017, and Sophie followed soon after, turning that dream into a reality. The sisters shared a powerful bond, symbolized by matching three-wave tattoos that represent faith, family, and unity, which shaped Sophie's life deeply. Growing up surrounded by athletic role models, Sophie was inspired daily. Lindsay often mentored Sophie like a coach, helping shape her skills and confidence. Their extended family, including their grandparents, Mama and Pawpaw, and a great-grandmother, were ever-present supporters, attending every Mizzou game. Sophie frequently credits her parents' wisdom and Lindsay's support as major drivers behind her discipline and love for basketball. Sophie spent her childhood in Columbia, Missouri, where she attended Rockbridge High School. It was here, at this public school just outside Columbia, that she exploded onto the scene as a basketball phenomenon. After graduating in 2015, she stayed close to home and committed to the University of Missouri in Columbia. From 2015 to 2019, she played for the Missouri Tigers women's basketball team. Sophie also focused on her education, starting with an undeclared major while etching her name in school record books. Her college legacy became one of the greatest in Mizzou history, as we'll dive into next. Staying true to her roots, Sophie remained deeply tied to Missouri throughout her academic and athletic career. She often said Missouri felt like home, and her family's legacy made Columbia the obvious choice. Sophie turned down offers from powerhouse programs across the country to represent her home state. At Rockbridge High School, she was a force of nature. Playing guard, she became the all-time leading scorer for the girls' basketball team with a total of 1,983 points. Her teams dominated the court, posting a staggering 102-18 record during her high school run. In her senior year, 2014 to 2015, Sophie's dominance on the court earned her the highest accolades. She was named the 2014 Gatorade Missouri Girls Basketball Player of the Year and selected as a McDonald's All-American, an honor reserved for the nation's best high school athletes. These distinctions cemented her status as Missouri's top prep player. Known for her scoring ability, rebounding strength, and fierce competitive edge, Sophie regularly delivered standout performances, leading Rockbridge to key victories. A memorable story from that year: when the football team's kicker got injured in 2014, Sophie stepped in to kick extra points, putting her team-first mentality on full display. By the time she graduated, she was more than just a star. She was a proven leader, a winner, and a name known far beyond Missouri. Her brilliance sparked a national recruitment frenzy and opened doors to the college basketball elite. That brilliance carried straight into college, where Sophie continued her scoring streak at the University of Missouri and became one of the program's all-time greats. From her freshman debut to her final senior game, she started all 129 contests, never missing a beat. In her first year, 2015 to 2016, she averaged 14.0 points and 5.8 rebounds per game, earning her the title of SEC Freshman of the Year. Each year that followed, she was honored on the All-SEC team, highlighted by 3 consecutive first-team All-SEC selections from 2016 to 2019, a feat few have matched. On a national level, Sophie rose to elite status. In her senior season, 2018 to 2019, she became the first Missouri player ever named an AP All-American, landing on the AP third team. That same year, she received honorable mention All-America honors from the WBCA. Her final college stats were impressive: 17.0 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.0 assists per game. She regularly ranked among SEC leaders, and in her junior year, she shot a staggering 54.2% from the field, tops in the nation, and led the SEC in three-point shooting at 45.7%. But Sophie's greatest legacy at Mizzou may be in the record books. She finished her career as Missouri's all-time leader in points and free throws made. She also ranked second in three-pointers made and fourth in assists, showcasing her all-around impact. Under her leadership, Mizzou made 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances, something the program had never achieved before. Along the way, she added more honors, multiple SEC Player of the Week awards, and finalist recognition for prestigious national awards like the Cheryl Miller Award. Among her major college accomplishments, Missouri's all-time leading scorer with 2,187 points, record holder for free throws made, 2016 SEC Freshman of the Year, the first in school history, 3-time First Team All-SEC 2019, AP Third Team All-American, the first Missouri player to earn that distinction, 2019 USBWA, Third Team All-American, 2019 WBCA Honorable Mention, and a key figure in 4 consecutive NCAA tournament bids. her dazzling college career made her a top pick for the 2019 WNBA draft. Scouts raved about her scoring versatility, leadership pedigree, and competitive fire. Sophie left Mizzou as more than a record setter. She was a local legend and a torchbearer for the next generation of Tigers. Sophie Cunningham's pro journey began when the Phoenix Mercury selected her with the 13th overall pick in the 2019 WNBA draft. At the time, she was the highest draft pick in the history of Mizzou's women's basketball program. Sophie made the Mercury's opening day roster and saw limited minutes in her rookie year, appearing in 32 games with 5 starts and averaging 3.1 points per game. Still, she made an early impression by leading all rookies with an 88.2% free throw percentage and dropping a then career-high 19 points in a June 2019 game against Indiana. Over the next few seasons, Sophie's role steadily grew. Her playing time increased, and so did her impact on both ends of the court. By 2022, she had secured a starting spot. That season, she posted career highs in multiple categories, averaging 12.6 points, 4.4 rebounds per game, while shooting 44.9% from the field and 38.3% from deep. She established herself as one of Phoenix's premier shooters and a go-to scoring option. The following year, in 2023, she started 31 games and remained a reliable contributor, averaging 11.3 points per contest. During WNBA off-seasons, Sophie took her talents overseas. In 2019 to 2020, she joined the Melbourne Boomers of Australia's WNBL, where she averaged 11.6 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. Playing abroad allowed her to hone her skills year-round and return to the WNBA in top form. After 6 seasons with the Mercury, her career entered a new phase. In January 2025, she was part of a blockbuster 4-team trade that landed her with the Indiana Fever. The team confirmed the news in a statement. The Indiana Fever have acquired guard Sophie Cunningham from the Phoenix Mercury as part of a 4-team trade. Fever GM Amber Cox added, "Cunningham was a player we have targeted for a while, one of the best shooters in our league." In Indiana, Sophie looks to lead, mentor, and contribute to a rising young squad. Beyond her playing career, Sophie has also begun building a presence in sports media. In December 2022, while still active in the WNBA, she accepted a position as an analyst for the Phoenix Suns NBA broadcasts. She now appears regularly on Suns Live, covering pregame, halftime, and postgame segments. This new venture highlights her charisma, deep understanding of the game, and a potential post-WNBA path in broadcasting. It also keeps her closely connected to the basketball world, even when not playing. Sophie Cunningham's impact on women's basketball is undeniable, particularly in Missouri. She helped revive Mizzou's program, put the school back on the national map, and set records that may stand for years. In Columbia and across the state, she's become a hometown icon and role model for aspiring athletes. Coaches and teammates consistently highlight her leadership and relentless drive. During her college years, she was the heart and soul of the team. In the WNBA, she's known for her toughness, competitive edge, and elite three-point shooting. As Indiana's GM said, she is a fierce competitor, works incredibly hard on both ends of the floor, and is one of the best shooters in our league. Her long-range accuracy and energy can either ignite a bench unit or elevate a lineup of stars. Off the court, Sophie's personality continues to win fans over. She's known for her confidence, bold fashion, and authentic social media presence, which have helped her grow a loyal following as the WNBA's visibility expands. Through interviews and community events, she shares her core values of faith, family, and hard work, messages that resonate with fans and young athletes alike. From Missouri trailblazer to veteran leader, Sophie's story is one of perseverance, passion, and staying true to yourself. In her personal life, Sophie Cunningham is just as dynamic. She's outgoing, energetic, and grounded by her rural roots. Her favorite hobbies include singing, swimming, fishing, and riding horses on the family farm. She earned a black belt in Taekwondo by age 6, a testament to her early focus and drive. Family remains central to her life, and she often says that being in nature and spending time with loved ones keeps her centered. Sophie has also become known for her bold, fashion-forward flair. She frequently posts her pre-game fits and behind-the-scenes moments on social media, showcasing a confident, playful style. In 2024, one outfit in particular went viral, a Love Island-inspired cutout dress that showed off her tan lines as she arrived at a game. The look sparked a flurry of online chatter. When asked about it later, Sophie laughed and revealed, "Actually, my mom picked that outfit out," handling the buzz with humor and charm. The moment captured her outgoing personality and her comfort in being unapologetically herself in the spotlight. With over 250,000 followers, Sophie blends basketball content with candid snapshots, personal reflections, and humor, making her social media presence both authentic and engaging. She's often described as blue-collar at heart, someone who takes pride in hard work and stays grounded on and off the court. Teammates and coaches consistently praise her as approachable, driven, and full of contagious energy that lights up any locker room. Faith is another cornerstone of Sophie Cunningham's life. A devoted Christian, she speaks openly about how her relationship with God shapes her mindset and career. Before every game, she follows a meaningful ritual, drawing a cross on her shoes, then her knees, heart, and forehead, a quiet but powerful act to focus her intentions and remind herself who she plays for. In interviews, she's explained that this routine helps calm her nerves and anchor her spirit. Her social media often features Bible verses and faith-driven messages. At one point, she pinned a quote from Romans 8:28, "God promises to work all things to good for those who love him." She's also shared that when she was drafted, she felt completely at peace, saying, "I knew that this is where God wanted me to be." Sophie and her sister Lindsay even share matching wrist tattoos of a 3-wave design, rooted in scripture and symbolizing the bond between faith and family. For Sophie, faith isn't a side note, it's central. It influences how she plays, how she leads, and how she navigates the public eye, making her an inspiration not just in sports, but in character. When it comes to her dating life, Sophie has kept things private and refreshingly candid. Publicly, she's made it clear that her primary focus has been her career, her spiritual life, and personal development. On social media, she has joked about being single and not in any rush to find a boyfriend, embracing her independence with a lighthearted attitude. No confirmed relationships or romantic ties have been made public, and Sophie seems to be content directing her energy toward basketball, faith, and family. Her approach to privacy and self-prioritization has resonated with fans who admire her for staying true to her values. Sophie's lifestyle reflects her roots and her profession. Off the court, she keeps active and grounded. She spends lots of time outside, often with family, enjoying the simple pleasures of her Missouri upbringing. Whether she's horseback riding, fishing, or just soaking in nature, Sophie stays connected to the lifestyle that shaped her. She also maintains a rigorous year-round training and conditioning routine to stay at peak performance. Though she keeps the specifics under wraps, it's clear she's dedicated to the discipline required of a top-level athlete. Fashion is a standout element of Sophie Cunningham's lifestyle. She regularly grabs headlines with her daring, eye-catching looks. Fox News even spotlighted her pre-game style, highlighting how she confidently rocked unique dresses and didn't flinch at criticism, joking that her mom had signed off on her now viral outfit. Sophie has built a personal brand rooted in boldness, confidence, and individuality. On social media, she often strikes poses in outfits that blend athletic performance with high-end flair. She's also carved out space in the brand world, aligning with companies that reflect her lifestyle. Among her partnerships, she's teamed up with Quest Nutrition, and is a sponsored Adidas athlete, often spotted in Adidas gear during games. These endorsements reinforce her image as energetic, health-conscious, and authentic. Sophie has successfully fused her Missouri roots, family values, hard work, and love for the outdoors with the contemporary role of an athlete influencer navigating style, performance, and public life. As of 2025, Sophie Cunningham has built a solid financial foundation. Her estimated net worth sits around $1.5 million, thanks to a combination of WNBA earnings and endorsement deals. Her core income comes from basketball. She signed a one-year extension with Phoenix in early 2025, worth $100,000, while her 2024 salary was about $120,000. But she doesn't rely on just her WNBA paycheck. Sophie supplements her income through brand partnerships and media roles. As an Adidas athlete and a spokesperson for products like Quest bars and skincare lines, she pulls in endorsement earnings that stack up over time. She's also received compensation for her work as a broadcast analyst. While specific figures remain private, experts estimate her total income, including basketball, endorsements, and media work, falls into the low to mid seven-figure range, with her current net worth of $1.5 million reflecting that growth. In terms of where she lives, Sophie's career path has shaped her journey across cities. Born and raised in Columbia, Missouri, she stayed local for high school and college, building her legacy in her hometown. Once drafted into the WNBA, she split her time between Phoenix, Arizona, where the Mercury play, and Columbia, returning home in the off-season. Now, in 2025, with her trade to the Indiana Fever, she's made Indianapolis or its surrounding area her new home base. There's no indication she owns vacation properties or real estate investments elsewhere. Like many young pros, she likely rents as needed in each city. Still, she speaks with great pride about her Missouri roots and considers Columbia home. Her sense of place is anchored in family and community, even as her professional life has taken her across the country. And that's a wrap on Sophie Cunningham's inspiring journey. If you enjoyed learning about her life, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more compelling stories.